Recently, I happened to watch a one of a kind movie, Arth. Released in the year 1982, in a nutshell, Arth explores the journey of a woman, Pooja, and how she handled life after her husband's affair and estrangement. It offers a relatable and sincere look into the human mind's tendency to become codependent. With the female lead as the cynosure of the movie, it did an honest job at delving into the range of emotions of a heartbroken woman, right from the stinging pain of betrayal, the grief of living with it, to its ultimate acceptance. Earth shows us how devastating the consequences of seeking love with the lack mentality can be. Pooja's past is mired by deprivation and the difficulties of being an orphan. She married Inder with the hopes of finding some sense of belonging. However, Inder's egotistical attitude and temperamental nature couldn't provide her with any security in the 7 years of their marriage. She keeps vocalizing how integral it is to her to have a home of her own. However, that is a projection of the very fear of abandonment she always had. When Inder confesses to Pooja about his extra-marital affair with Kavita, Pooja's worst fears come true. Pooja is a vivid example of how inner child wounds, especially those of abandonment, can have catastrophic consequences when left unattended. She is seeking something to call her own in another person, in this case, her husband. With time, even she realizes the lesson that she cannot call someone a home or expect anyone else to heal her. Pooja's journey is a lesson many of us have learned the hard way.
Our attachment styles develop right from our childhoods. The emotional wounds that affected us in childhood have a pivotal role to play in shaping what we seek in our relationships as we grow. The popular daddy issue is no laughing matter. It is an inner child wound that develops in people who were raised in households devoid of the safety and tenderness of a father's love. Mommy issues are often seen in people who were either raised devoid of their mother's affection or were suffocated by too much of it. Pooja's idea of love is one that emanates from her innate need for some stability. Her distraught childhood as an orphan and her craving for a stable life as an adult is only natural but not healthy. Unknowingly, she expected Inder to eradicate her abandonment issues. Our inner child wounds are very unique to us, and expecting someone else to nurse them is something we do until they eventually disappoint us all over again. Popular culture has forever promoted a hyped and unrealistic view of romantic relationships. Relationships that give you a rush or make you go crazy in it are glorified in the name of true love. These portrayals are nothing but a drug that offers an escape from reality for the audience. However, a handful of films over the years have ventured into the discrete territories of realities in relationships. One of them happens to be Arth. When it comes to Inder, this quote by the renowned psychotherapist and author Alexandra Katahakis truly hits home. Quote, when we step out of the delirium of always seeking someone new and meet the same old, sad, and lonely child within, our healing journey begins. Exhausting ourselves with novelty is a defense against our deepest pain, one that we cannot outrun. But once we stop and feel our losses, we can begin our healing journey and be the authentic and joyous person we were born to be. Unquote. Inder is a man with a huge sense of entitlement. He doesn't flinch even once for his deeds and assumes people around him will be okay with it. He is also extremely dependent on women despite all the aggression he displays outwardly. When the other woman in the equation, Kavita, finally dumps him out of the guilt for her actions, he rushes back to Pooja to manipulate her with apologies. Although Inder is not aware of how to love right, he wants his ego massaged in the form of attention. He satiates it by seeking women who are as broken as him, and when he gets tired of them, he looks for something new. I couldn't stop thinking of how these three characters, Pooja, Inder, and Kavita, were all so codependent. Their love didn't come from a place of total acceptance of themselves or of the other individual. Their love emanated from a vacuum that remained unfilled in their psyches. They loved because they lacked something. Their cups were empty and they were seeking somebody else to fill it for them. The only example of healthy love can be seen in the equation between Raj and Pooja. Raj's love is based on a genuine appreciation for Pooja. He respects her and encourages her to find herself. He's even mature enough to understand Pooja's need for a life of her own with a newfound purpose. It's a kind of love that wishes well for the other, a sincere form of love wrapped in respect and understanding.
Towards the end of the movie, both Pooja and Kavita can be seen to have realized the truth about their individual situations. In the words of the eminent psychologist Dr. Carl Jung, quote, knowing your own darkness is the best method for dealing with the darknesses of other people. Unquote. Kavita, the other woman in the equation, can be seen coming face to face with some ugly realities. This confrontation with her shadow quickly escalates into an episode of panic attacks. However, she bounces back with the new realization that she too had been seeking love from the wrong place and man all this time. Kavita's realization is a matter of hope. She had the courage to face her demons and introspect her actions, even if that included admitting her fault. Accepting one's mistakes and swearing never to repeat them is an extraordinary feat. Most of us spend our entire lives never taking accountability for our actions and forever blaming others, thereby emboldening our victimhood. Ultimately, both women can be seen facing their individual truths with a newfound self respect and self love, essential for true healing and empowerment. When self love develops, one stops putting oneself through hell and back. Just like Pooja did, one becomes truly okay when one realizes that the very home one was seeking was right within all along. This realization is what adds more meaning to one's life.